Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Boom Broadcasting presents Three from Deep. I'm your host, Jason Colenso. Welcome to the show. Thank you all very much for being here. We're still all trying to decompress on what transpired Saturday evening into Sunday morning. I think a lot of us are still in shock over that trade. So we will touch on that a little bit this episode. But we're going to talk about the other trade, huge trade that happened over this weekend. So we'll discuss that a little bit here. I also want to get into some games. I know my last episode I had Cody from Drew Code Sports Talk was here to discuss the Luka trade. So if you guys haven't checked that episode yet, the Monday episode was off the chain. We had a great time together, and we were both just completely still in shock. I think a lot of us still are. Don't know how to process this just yet. It really hasn't hit. I think it won't hit until guys are on the court. But I do want to get back on the court. I miss talking about some games. We had some games last Friday, Saturday. We had a great game on Monday. We'll talk about that too. I also want to get into my top five because, guys, I love doing my top five list. I want my top five biggest sports trades of all time. During our show on Monday, we did the biggest NBA trades of all time, our top five. And I want to do my top five sports trades of all time. So pay attention for that list. Let's jump right into it, guys. I am super excited to get back and talking about the NBA. This is what we've been waiting for, the drama, the excitement. It's crazy. I don't think anybody expected what we got over the weekend. And Jimmy Butler still hasn't been traded yet. Crazy madness. All right, jumping into it. We had a big trade between the San Antonio Spurs, Sacramento Kings, and the Chicago Bulls, who are a terrible mess right now, but it's a whole nother story. So, to break down the trade, De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin go to the Spurs. Sacramento Kings get a haul. They get Zach LaVine, Cisco. Hope I said that right. I probably did it wrong. I want to say Cisco, but this is not the 90s. So then they got a 2025 first from the Hornets, 2027 first from the Spurs, 2031 first via the T-Wolves, 2025 second from the Bulls, 2028 second from the Nuggets, and 2028 second via the Bulls. The Bulls got Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter. I probably said that wrong too. And then a 2025 pick, their own via the Spurs. So the Bulls got a lot of maybe throwaway contracts. Now Sacramento got a haul. This is the kind of haul we thought it would take to get a Luka Doncic. You talking about a stack of picks. And Zach LaVine is a really good player, averaging 24 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists this year, having a really good year. So Sacramento, even though they gave up a lot of picks, didn't lose a lot of capital. They still have Monk. They still have Sabonis, which I used to watch his dad, Arvydas, back in the day. Looked like a Russian school teacher out there playing basketball. It was great. But Domantas Sabonis is a double-double machine. So even though Sacramento gave up De'Aaron Fox, I don't think they slipped that much. They still have a really good team, and they still have some pieces to work with. So they actually did very well in this trade for giving up one of their top players. But the Spurs, De'Aaron Fox, 25 points, 6.1 assists, 5 rebounds a game, going and playing next to Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama, Wemby, a.k.a. the Parisian Pillar, finally gets to play with a young stud. He's got Chris Paul there, but Chris Paul's in his twilight. I love me some Chris Paul. Great player. One of the best point guards of all time. Just always had such bad luck in the playoffs getting hurt and just kind of being on the wrong team at the wrong time. But De'Aaron Fox now gets to pair up with Victor Wembanyama. I think this for the Spurs is massive. Massive. They are now going to vault up in the standings in the West. I think this really puts them a lot closer to OKC, Houston. I know their record doesn't show it now, but get Fox on the floor, pairing with Victor Wembanyama. Fox can give you 30 and 10. Victor can get you 30 and 10. So put those two together. You got Chris Paul facilitating the basketball. They're going to have a heck of a team and a heck of a fun team to watch. So be on the lookout. The San Antonio Spurs just got so much better, which is insane to think about. And I think they're going to become a free agent destination because I don't know if they're going to be able to get close enough to the chip. They may be able to work their way into the playoffs. They may be able to make a little noise in the playoffs. Wembanyama's still young. De'Aaron Fox has a little bit of experience in the playoffs, not a lot. I know Chris Paul does too, but still got a young team. I think this is more of into next year. Free agency hits. I think a lot of guys are going to want to play with Victor Wembanyama, and I don't think the Spurs are done yet. They are really, really good at drafting. They have great scouts. You know, look at some of the players that they've had throughout their history with Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, David Robinson, the Admiral. So the Spurs and that organization are pretty consistent, and they know what they're doing. They also got Kawhi Leonard. He's kind of a little bit washed right now, but still a great player come through the Spurs organization. So De'Aaron Fox on the Spurs, huge, guys. Be prepared to watch some great games with Victor and Fox. I think that's going to be a massive team to enjoy, and be careful. OKC, Houston, Denver, you guys are on notice. The Spurs are coming, and they're coming fast. So that was the other trade that happened. They did have another trade happen Tuesday. I got my phone on me now because, of course, I record this on Tuesday evenings for the Wednesday drop. So I'm just kind of staying alive for the alerts. I hope I can give you a breaking news, as I'm watching it right here live. But there was a trade Tuesday. The Mavs, again, in the trade news, getting Caleb Martin from the 76ers and moving from Quentin Grimes and a 2025 second-round pick. So solidifying that team. This trade, and we're going to jump on it here, guys, and talk about the Luka trade. This trade was insane. It shocked not only the NBA world, but the sports world. Heck, Myles Garrett saw that and said, dude, I'm out of Cleveland. I want out of here. If Luka can get traded, I can get traded. So it was huge. It had everybody shocked, shook. Every post-game press conference, guys were being asked about that, from Steph Curry to Kevin Durant, because you saw a lot of the real-time reactions. Like, guys are looking at their phones and just their eyes just lit up and went, who and what and why? And, so it was really one of those surreal moments that was crazy to be a part of. Again, I woke up to it Sunday morning, not knowing what the heck was going on. And then all of a sudden I see my phone blowing up, the ESPN's blowing up, the feeds are blowing up. It was awesome. But the Lakers get Luka Doncic, Maxi Keebler, Markieff Morris. The Mavs got AD, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. And then the Jazz were involved because it was a 3-team deal. Jalen Hood, Shafino, and 2 2025 second-round picks. Which in the NBA, it's weird. Those second-round picks are like, I don't know. I don't know if they just do that to fill the sheet or what, because everybody throws those around like it's crazy. You would have thought this would have been a bigger haul. You would have thought this would have been more like the Sacramento Kings Spurs deal, where Sacramento got 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and a couple of really good players. One stud all-star, and another role player that they can mess around with. For the Lakers, for the Mavericks to not really shop Luka and just kind of call the Lakers and just send him to the Lakers. I play a lot of fantasy football, and for all those out there who play fantasy football, it's like, you're watching your league, and then you see a trade, and you go, they traded who? And they gave you what for who? I would have gave you more. And you start going into your messaging, and you go into the league and you go, well, why did you trade him? If you would have come to me, I would have gave you so much more for him. It's just, it had you in shock, because you would have thought it would have taken more to get a generational talent like Luka Doncic, a global icon right now that you can market, that you're going to sell, and who's only 25 years old, you're going to have for the next 10 plus years. Drag the Mavericks to a finals, and your complaint is you didn't want to give him a max contract because he was out of shape. That, guys, I don't even know how to process that. James Harden, I know Cody from Drew Code Sports Talk talked about this. James Harden notoriously comes into the regular season pretty much out of shape. A lot of those guys do. They kind of have to work themselves up. If your concerns about Luka and his health and his ability to stay healthy because he doesn't stay in shape, that to me is something that's on the team. These players, especially you get a young guy that's not accustomed to the way the NBA works, the way things work here in America, a little bit different. Luka is well aware of what it takes to be an NBA champion. Look, Luka Doncic loved him some Kobe Bryant. And now he's playing on the team that Kobe Bryant became a legend on. But the legend of Kobe Bryant has to do with the Mamba mentality. If I am the Dallas Mavericks and I have concerns about Luka Doncic and his weight and his exercise regimen and his ability to come in and being healthy and being in shape, I'm telling Luka, sit down, put the energy drinks down, put the Little Debbies down. We're going to have a talk and show him Kobe Bryant videos. This is what Kobe Bryant used to do, and show them there's workout videos out there of Kobe Bryant midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning in the gym. And you sit there and you show him these videos and you wake him up and you go to your franchise player who is plastered all over your building, who is plastered all over the place, who is only 25 years old, and you want to bring you to the promised land, and you want guys to come in and play with him and get free agents. You got Kyrie to play with him. You were able to get Clay from Golden State to come there. So you have a destination. You got a big market, and you got a marketable team, and you got a place where guys want to come play. So instead of, before the season even starts, you obviously had these concerns for a long time. So before the season even starts, you get with him and you sit him down in all his representation, because a lot of these guys nowadays, you got to have their reps in there and their managers and all this other stuff, because you can't do anything player to player anymore. But you sit him down and you talk to him and you go, here's the deal. You want your Supermax contract. You want to be in the same breath as the greats, which you can be. Luka Doncic has the talent to be mentioned in the pantheon of great NBA players. You sell him that. I don't care how long you have to sit him there and show him videos and have guys come in and talk to him. You get him a nutritionist. You get him personal chefs, and you say, Luka, work your butt off. I want to see you come into this season healthy. I'm going to put some pieces around you. We want to build around you. I want to give you and sign you to a Supermax contract at the end of the year. And give you the money you deserve, because you're gonna make us that money back and then some, because that's just how marketable you are. Instead of doing that, you make a few backhanded comments and you trade your generational talent in the same conference, the Western Conference. So now you've angered your fan base who love Luka Doncic, who buy season tickets to go watch him, and you send him to the enemy for an aging AD and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And not even the good peanut butter. I'm talking like the bootleg peanut butter that, is been on the store shelf for about 18 months. Terrible, terrible. This move will get Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, fired. Period. The press conference with Jason Kidd sitting there with this dumbfounded, disappointed, angry, blank stare on his face, and you have your GM say, well, guys, me and Jason Kidd, we're both on the same page. We're aligned on the kind of players we want here. Oh, but by the way, I really didn't tell Jason Kidd I was trading the best player on your team, but we're aligned. To me, that there is a fireable offense, let alone what this is going to do. Now, short term, I think this may still work out for the Mavs if AD can get healthy and stay healthy, and that's the problem, and I know that's one of the reasons why the Lakers, kind of let him go, is, he's getting up there, 31. He got you a chip, but he's playing next to an aging LeBron who is a year away, maybe two, from leaving. So you don't have much left on that team. AD is always hurt. He's not available, a.k.a. street clothes, a.k.a. Mr. Glass. So hopefully he can get healthy in the Mavericks with Kyrie and AD and Clay in the short term this year, possibly next year, if they can maybe get a little extra help, can make some noise in the West. They need to win something. That's the only thing that is going to save a lot of people's jobs on this team. They need to win something. Period. That's the only thing that's going to help. If Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers beat you every year, have a better record than you every year from now for the next 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, the Dallas Mavericks, this is going to haunt you. They have a chance. They have a good team. They have a solid team. If somebody else was traded and you had AD with Luka and Clay and you traded away Kyrie, I think the fan base and I think the team would have been better and you really could have weathered this storm. But we're all still trying to process this, guys. This is unbelievable. I don't even know what to tell you. We're going to jump into my top 5 biggest trades in sports history real quick. I want to do that now, and then I want to review some games that we had starting back in last Friday and then working our way up here. But this trade has got everybody shook and is going to be on everybody's lips from now for the rest of the year. So the NBA is going to see a huge boost in ratings and people talking about them and tweets and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, guys, this had me thinking, is this one of the greatest trades of all time? We just saw 2 great players, a generational player traded from one team to another. So that got me thinking. Top 5 trades of all time. And that's all sports. Number 5. And my man Cody talked about this on our show. One of his greatest NBA trades. To me, this surpasses that. Number 5, 2007, Kevin Garnett getting traded to the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics had earlier gotten Ray Allen to pair with Paul Pierce. Then they traded and got Kevin Garnett. They ended up winning the NBA championship 2008. This was the birth of the Big Three. This was the birth of that notion that you need 2 to 3 megastars on one team. This is the infancy of LeBron and D Wade in the Miami Heat. This started it all. And I think this also transcended into other sports because you see a lot of other sports in baseball and football. They try to get core three big main players. And this was it. This was the first trade that did it all. Number 4, Herschel Walker. To this day, almost 30 plus years later, 1989, Herschel Walker, stud running back for the Dallas Cowboys, is traded to Minnesota for a haul. 6 players and 12 draft picks. And Herschel Walker never sniffed the playoffs with Minnesota. And those draft picks and that trade was the birth of the Cowboys dynasty in the 90s. A couple of those picks transformed into Emmitt Smith and Darren Woodson. The Cowboys ended up winning the Super Bowl in 92, 93, and 95, all because of that trade. One of the biggest trades in NFL history. People still talk about it to this day, the Herschel Walker trade. Number 3, Patrick Roy, the king of goalies. I got some hockey in there, guys. Actually, I got a couple of them. 95-96, he gets into a fist fight with his coach, Mario Tremblay. So they trade Roy to Colorado. Now, he had won 2 cups with the Canadiens, was beloved, one of the greatest goalies of all time, traded to the Colorado Rockies, where he proceeds to continue his Hall of Fame career and wins 2 Stanley Cups for that franchise. It was a huge, huge trade. No one ever really saw that before, especially with a goalie. Now, you also have number 2, Wayne Gretzky, the Great One. I think this kind of started it all, especially in the hockey side. The trade, everybody talks about the Edmonton Oilers sending Wayne Gretzky to the LA Kings in 88 Played 8 seasons, 88 to 96. He had one finals appearance, unfortunately. That was it, 92 and 93, and lost. But his greatness, the great one, was already solidified. So Wayne Gretzky to the LA Kings shook the hockey world, shook Canada, a whole country. It was crazy. And then my number one, biggest trade in sports history. And as you can see, guys, I am a New York fan. I got all this stuff behind me here. Of course, we're going to talk about George Herman Ruth, the Babe. 1919. The birth of the curse of the Bambino. The Boston Red Sox trade Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees for $100,000. Allegedly, I've seen some other stories, but $100,000. And a mega franchise was created. And I want to say the birth of sports as we know it was created. George Herman Ruth traded. The curse of the Bambino lasted till 2004, which I don't want to talk about. Yankee fans do not talk about 2004. We kind of let that go. But that is my biggest trade of sports history of all time. Kevin Garnett, number 5. Herschel Walker, number 4. Patrick Waugh, number 3. Wayne Gretzky, number 2. And Babe Ruth, number 1. Let me hear yours, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Throw me a comment in there. I want to hear your top 5 sports trades of all time. What did I miss? What did I not think of? I want to review a couple of games real quick. Friday night on the 31st. Guys, we forgot to talk about this. I was so excited about Giannis and Wemby playing against each other. I didn't even get a chance to think about it because, everybody's brain has exploded. Giannis versus Wemby. Spurs blow the doors off Giannis and the Bucks, 144-118. Wemby with 30, 14 rebounds, and 6 blocks. Keldon Johnson dropped in 24. Stephon Castle dropped in 20. Stopped a 2-game skid. Giannis had 35 and 13. Dame had 22. Middleton 21. So, respectable. Giannis still kind of up there for MVP. He's my number 4, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But what a great win for Wemby against those Bucks. And now you're going to put De'Aaron Fox with Wemby. Watch out now. Then Saturday night. This kind of started everything. Lakers beat the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. It was a rough loss for us. 128-112. LeBron loves playing in New York City. He loves playing in the Garden. 33, 11, and 12. His 10th triple-double of the season. The ageless wonder. Guys, I know LeBron is great. Jordan's still my number 1. But for what this guy does and how he takes care of himself, ridiculous. And he ain't going to put up with Luka being lazy. So, Luka, you better get your stuff together quick because LeBron ain't going to have that. Hart had 26, 13, and 11. His 7th triple-double in the season. Love me some Josh Hart, man. He is phenomenal. Jalen Brunson, another Mav. Thank you very much for the Mavs. And you're wanting to trade away talent. The New York Knicks appreciate that. Jalen Brunson only had 17, 2, and 7 assists. Karl Anthony Towns only had 11. OG Anunoby sprained his foot, so he's day-to-day. So it was a rough game for us. That Saturday night did not come out playing well. Very disappointed on how they performed against the Lakers. I was hoping they'd all show up because I have Jalen Brunson, and we'll get there in my MVP watch too. So we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, Saturday night, the whole world shook with everything going on. I hadn't been able to focus on anything all Sunday. The only thing I focused on was trying to digest what had just happened. But Monday night, Knicks versus Rockets. Knicks, a bounce-back win. Fantastic. 124-118. Jalen Brunson, a historic Knicks night. 42 and 10, 42 points, 10 assists. 18th 40-point game with the New York Knicks. Passes Carmelo Anthony. I love me some Carmelo. I got some stuff back there with Carmelo. Trailed by 11 and entering the third, and then Brunson 17 in the fourth quarter. Ended up getting by the second place Houston Rockets. This is the 12th game this year. Jalen Brunson has had 30 points and 10 assists. He passes a New York Knicks Hall of Famer, Richie Guerin, for franchise history, to have 12, 30, 12 games. Jalen Brunson, MVP watch. Thank you, Mavs, for not recognizing talent and trading away Jalen Brunson. So we appreciate that. Karl Anthony Towns, 22. Bridges, 22. Hart, 19. Fantastic bounce back win. Guys, you guys needed that from the loss on Saturday night to come back and beat that second place Rockets team. Jalen Brunson with 42 points. Awesome. Amen Thompson showed up in the Garden too, man. Dude is a bona fide star in the making. Guys, if you're not watching his game, you have to. He is electric on the court. He had a nasty dunk in this game. Dropped 25, 11, and 11, his third triple-double. He is a superstar. The Rockets, they're sliding. That loss, they lost 3 in a row right there. But still second in the West. So right now, my MVP tracker, number 1, SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Club Shay Shay, for those first place Oklahoma City Thunder. Hard to dethrone him. Number 2, Joker. He's just having a legendary season, almost averaging a triple-double. Nuggets aren't playing that well. So that's why I have Jalen Brunson a close third and moving up the list quickly. If he continues to play the way he does, if he continues to vault that New York Knicks team and gets them into the playoffs, maybe a second seed, MVP, guys, come on. He is the MVP of that New York Knicks team right now. And then number 4, I still have Giannis. He's still playing good basketball. It's just right now the Bucks aren't very consistent. Guys, watch out for Jalen Brunson. SGA, you start slipping. Joker, those Nuggets don't start doing something there in the West. Watch Jalen Brunson start catching up, guys. Get on board now. Lots going on in the NBA, man. I love it. This is some good stuff here. I'm gonna check my phone real quick. Let's see if anybody got. Traded. I feel like I'm on Sports Center right now. Looks like Embiid's available to play after missing 15 games. I would have expected him to get traded too. I'm surprised the 76ers have not moved on from Joel Embiid. That's a whole nother story. We can spend another day talking about that. Nope. As of right now, no other trades to report, guys. Trade deadline, Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Still no movement from Jimmy Butler. Still nothing from some of the other teams out there. Golden State Warriors talking about wanting to make moves. The Phoenix Suns talking about wanting to make moves. I thought the Wizards would be huge sellers right now. Nothing really coming from them. We had that insane trade over the weekend. Then you had Fox. So I'm like, okay, we're hitting our stride now. And now it's been crickets. I don't know. We'll have to check it out. Wednesday's games. You got number 1 Cavs versus the Pistons. It's going to be a good game. Pistons 7th. They've slipped a little bit. They're 500 right now. But I think Cade Cunningham still playing well. Still an awesome season for him. So still watch out for those Pistons. Thunder, number 1 versus Suns. I got that on there because I'm wondering what the Suns are going to do. They want to get rid of Beal. Will KD be back in Golden State again? I don't know, man. Be interesting to see what happens. Thursday night, got Celtics versus Mavs. I don't think AD is going to be available yet. He's still messing with that strain. So we're all on alert right now until AD and Luka hit the floor. I don't think this is real yet until we see those guys playing basketball. So it's going to be interesting to see. You got Rockets versus the T-Wolves on Thursday, and then Warriors-Lakers again on Thursday. Will those teams have traded? Will there be some new guys on those teams? We're going to see. Will we see Luka, and when will we see Luka? Guys, I'll have a show on Saturday, of course. So once Saturday hits, I'm hoping I have some more trades to talk about. We'll have to see what's happened. And then I'm also going to talk about the trades we didn't see. Because, again, right now, we're seeing a lot of teams not making moves. We're seeing a lot of players that were talked about not making moves. So, great time of the year. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, Jason, boom, 3 from deep. I am your host. I thank you all for being here. Like, subscribe to Boom Broadcasting. I appreciate everybody that keeps watching the shows. Been seeing some great numbers out there. I thank you all very much. But pass it on to some friends. Pass it on to your family. Let's see the subscriptions go up, man. Come on. We really need your help. We have some great content out there. We have some great shows. Wrestling, football. We've been talking about the draft coming up here. That's been hot. So, guys, jump on board to Boom Broadcasting. We have some great content creators. Michael Davis, the Boom Broadcasting president, with his shows. Just, you got to jump on board, man. If you're not, you're missing out. And I thank you guys. Again, this is Jason Colenso from 3 from Deep. Thank you all very much. I will see you on Saturday at 12 p.m. Check me out anytime on the Boom Broadcasting channel, YouTube network. All our shows are on demand, so you can go back and look at some of my earlier shows and kind of see how bad I was and maybe see if you think I've gotten a little bit better. So thank you all very much for joining me. I appreciate it. Peace. I will see you on Saturday.